Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I've got a little treat for you. I'm going to share with you the real story of the Enfield monster. Before we get into that, though, a couple links I'd like to share. The first link I'd like to share with you is Tromix Lead Delivery System, home of the original 458 and owned by Tony Remora, a true American. He designed an AR upper to be attached to your existing AR lower and blast 458 instead of 223 and 556. He designed this for our troops in the Middle East to stop truck bombs. Straight across the board, guys. A 458 is going to stop a truck, it's going to stop the dog man. Tromix link is in the description below, and please check Tony's other amazing products out. On to my links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below, as well as my second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. I also started a GoFundMe page to help raise some money for urbex, cryptid hunting, and ghost hunting equipment. I have an EVP recorder, an SLS cam, and some trail cams. If that's anything that you're willing to help with, that link is in the description below. Now, let's get into the real Enfield monster. Shall we? What really happened in Enfield, Illinois in 1973? The Enfield monster had 3 legs, were the words a man named Henry McDaniel used to describe his first encounter with something his children simply called a monster. McDaniel used the words while speaking with the Illinois State Police, who had responded to his call for help. Mr. McDaniel would see the 3-legged creature again, and he was not alone. The creature would become known as the Enfield Horror. The story of the Enfield Horror began on the evening of April 25th, 1973, in the small southern Illinois town of Enfield. A young boy named Greg Garrett was playing in his backyard. His pursuit of fireflies, however, would soon be interrupted by a monstrosity called the Enfield Horror. As the young Garrett's parents watched TV, their son burst through the back door of the home, crying and hysterical. He told a very strange tale about a bizarre creature that was simply unbelievable. He said he saw the monster, about 4 or 5 feet tall, short little arms with claws, gray slimy skin, and 3 legs with also claws, and big red eyes. Garrett's shoes were torn. He said it happened when the monster ran past him and stepped on his feet. The boy's parents were very confused. Their son was not known to make things up or lie, but they just couldn't believe his strange story. It was just a short time later when Garrett's neighbor, Henry McDaniel, and his wife returned home at about 9:30 at night. They found their 2 children, Henry Jr. and Lil, in a panic. They told their parents the same kind of weird creature was scraping at their house, trying to get in. The senior McDaniel listened in disbelief. Then he heard something, a scratching sound outside. McDaniel grabbed his pistol and opened the front door, and he came face to face with the Enfield Horror. His description of the monster was identical to that of Greg Garrett. McDaniel opened fire on the creature, but when McDaniel was sure he hit the creature, the bullets didn't seem to harm it. He said it hissed like a wild cat and jumped away, covering approximately 75 feet in 3 hops, disappearing by some nearby railroad tracks. McDaniel called local police, but Illinois state troopers in the area responded to the call. The troopers investigated the area but found no sign of the Enfield Horror. They did, however, find scratch marks on the outside of the house which appeared to be fresh, and, most intriguing and interesting, footprints, 3 of them, with prominent claws. 2 of the footprints were about 4 inches wide and the third slightly smaller. The troopers had no explanation or even a guess as what left such tracks. In the days following his encounter with the Enfield Horror, McDaniel, apparently not fearing ridicule, told his story to everyone he saw, before long self-appointed monster hunters began to arrive in Enfield. At one point, White County Sheriff Roy Poshard Jr. threatened to arrest McDaniel if he didn't keep quiet about his encounter with the Enfield Horror, but it was already too late. 5 of the so-called monster hunters were arrested and charged with being a threat to public safety after they opened fire on a Harry Gray thing. Among those who claimed to have seen the Enfield Horror was Rick Rainbow, news director for WWKI in Kokomo, Indiana. Rainbow and 3 other men claimed they have sighted the Enfield Horror at an abandoned house not far from McDaniel's house. Rainbow was not able to get a clear view of the horror because it was in the shadows, and it had its back towards him. Rainbow reportedly recorded the ungodly scream of the Enfield Horror, but the recording cannot be found. The stay of the Enfield Horror was a short one. Henry McDaniel, however, would see the horror one last time. McDaniel woke up on the night of May 6th. The neighborhood dogs were barking. McDaniel got up and looked outside. There was the Enfield Horror, slowly walking down the nearby Enfield Railroad tracks. McDaniel would say, "I didn't shoot it at all, or nothing." McDaniel watched as the Enfield Horror disappeared from view. Apparently, for good.